check when OBS has got a got a main way to hear you. Once it loses it, the mic doesn't get checked to see if there's anything there now. Yeah, you can hear me now. OBS wanted to somehow lose that I had a mic, and then when I updated it, the source inside the stream didn't take. I don't completely understand why. That's how this software works. I'm almost thinking about maybe I should move to Meld Studio. There's my phone really quick because no one's answering that. Ooh. Of course, I'll come back to a hydrate. Okay, let's try this again since we're now back to being live. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We here with Spirit Magic Helmet. Let's get this started. I gotta hydrate.
Macarena. What?
I haven't done the Macarena in like 10 plus years. And when I last did it, I was horrible at it. Because I'm the one African American on this planet that has no rhythm.
Sorry about that.
Right? Why would you waste a dab when you can't see me? I feel like that's a wasted dab. Because I can say I did it, like I'm saying right now, I did it. You can't prove it. Like, I mean, I feel like that was... Whoops, sorry. Misread that as right. But still, Ava, that's a wasted dab. You can't prove that I did it or not. Now maybe if you did it on a when you could see me. I'm surprised his laptop's HDMI port is broken. I don't know what he's been doing or not doing. Actually, since I got you here, Ava, I'm pretty sure you blew out your husband's ears. But did you see the Ocarina of Time remake reveal trailer? I'm almost certain you did. I had a feeling. I had a feeling you blew out Rye's ears. I should have asked you about it on the day of, but I completely forgot, mainly because it wasn't the most exciting announcement, considering Nate the Hate kind of ruined it for everybody. I'm starting to think leaks are starting to become the bane of people who play video games' existence. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, let that out of the way. Spirit typing in the background because I can hear him. We're gonna talk about the next episode that we have of yeah, I was watching a YouTuber talk about like they're not prepared for the Skulltulas. They're not prepared for the Skulltulas, the Redeads, the well, the Skulltula Man. There's like so many, there's actually so many things that, you know, that based off the way that game looks are going to be really creepy looking. I'm not prepared for those freaking Re-Dead screams. For whatever reason, no matter how old I get, those scare the crap out of me. Just the scream alone sends chills down my spine, and I don't like it. I already don't like spiders, so the Skulltulas are just not gonna. The tree looked pretty cool. They didn't really show much of anything. They just showed Link sleeping, but I mean, obviously that's how the game begins. Can't wait to hear, hey, listen, hey, actually, they could probably fix that now that it's been 25 years. Because Navi wasn't supposed to be annoying. She just flips out when you're like targeting with her. I'm surprised you haven't said Jack. You haven't said Jack yet, Spear. I'm kind of shocked. You have to keep that. No, they don't. Like Rye, that was a glitch. That wasn't a part of gameplay. That was a glitch. That was just how the Z targeting system worked. That was not supposed to happen. Her flipping out like that. They'll probably keep how constant she kind of shows up in the game. I mean, she's no worse than Fi from Skyward Sword. And people loved Fi. Her flipping out between that was not supposed to happen. And if it was supposed to happen, Anuma is a bad person. I'd be more interested if they were to remake Majora's Mask, but I don't think they're going to. They could give Navi a personality. There are things you can change. I feel like Navi was supposed to have a personality, but they decided to not give her one for some really weird reason. It feels like that part of the game was like a last minute development for some really odd reason. The fairy thing. So there's like a lot of things that could change. I mean, like Hyrule Fields being an actual field be interesting to go through for the first time. The Gorons and Gerudo Valley are going to be interesting to actually play. Yeah, there's like a lot of things in that game that could be. I have never honestly, I've never beaten Ocarina of Time. I had a hard time trying to fight Ganon. Could not tell you what the problem was, but I could not do damage to him. Like he was completely immune to me, even though I had the Master Sword. Give Navi a deep voice. Hey, listen. Oh God, Navi, you're a man. You know, I would almost be up for that, actually. A deep voice Navi. Can you imagine the YouTube videos with that game if that happened? Navi needs the deepest voice possible. Are we talking about Shaft or like how deep we're talking? All right. Serious note. We hit a review episode 15 of Frieren.
So 1-5, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. If that's okay to say, I don't know sometimes, but it is okay to be gay. We are talking about.
Okay, and enough of that, guy. I'm trying to literally. Trying to literally. They can't hear you, by the way. Just want to let you know. How was that rude? I have the power. This isn't He-Man, but I have the power.
Yeah, and if you're a husband, you have the power to beat your wife. It doesn't mean you can or should.
I'm sorry, what?
If you
don't go
are,
don't go outing your own personal life problems on the podcast. I got nothing to do with this.
Jesus.
You don't talk out here talking about beating your wife. Like, what is going on with you?
No, I'm not talking about beating my wife. I'm talking about hypothetically. You said I have the power, like to mute you. Therefore, like as if that therefore it makes it right. And I'm saying, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. And then I presented the case in point example that, you know, if you might have the power to beat your wife, but that doesn't mean you could or should do that either. I didn't suggest that I was actually beating my wife. I floated the concept that it was a wrong idea to, and I didn't even say mine, I said your.
I'm not married. So I don't even have a girlfriend.
What I feel like you're trying to do is selectively mute me and then engage in character assassination.
No, I haven't muted you, actually. You might think I muted you, but I haven't. They've heard every single bit of that last statement.
You said you muted me
earlier when you were trying to
yeah, you never told me when I was you never told me when I was unmuted. You just launched into like horrible things.
What I wanted to say before you decided to hijack the podcast with Kino's Journey was like I'm surprised you decided to say something right as soon as the Legend of Zelda talk stopped happening. It was like almost like you were listening.
I was listening, but I don't have anything to say about those specific Legend of Zeldas. The 3D Legend of Zeldas are not my thing. I told you I don't play 3D games very much. I tried playing Majora's Mask, and I remember I got to a part where I was supposed to hit things with a slingshot, and it took me a really long time. And then I finally got past that, and I got to a part where you had to like jump. You were on this like lifting platform, and you had to jump off of it into the next area. And I did it for a while, and I could sort of do it. It took me a bunch of tries, and then when I was done, I fell at some point, and I was like, I'm not really in the mood to do that again. And I didn't rage quit, but I was just like not into it, and so I stopped.
You ever played the Echoes of Wisdom game that came out a few years back?
No, if it's a 3D game, I'm not really interested in playing it.
It's not a 3D game. It's a top-down, like 2D. I mean, it's like got 3D models in it, but you're not playing in 3 dimensions. It's like the best way to describe it is like it's like the Game Boy Legend of Zelda, Game Boy Advance ones. It's, you know, all those top-down perspective.
I would play Link's Awakening.
It's like that, just got 3D models in it. That, you know, but you're not playing in 3D. It's like 2.5D. I think I told you this before. Like, you know, they are making 2D games, just like they're using 3D models, but you know they're limiting the plane of view so you don't have to, you know, traverse 3D. I feel like you're missing a whole spectrum of games though by not, like, I guess there are people who just are, you know, either, you know, they don't say they're good. I have never heard people say they're, I mean, like, I only recently just heard people saying there are some people out there who just don't do good in platforming, and I find that interesting. But, basically, I like both spectrums of the game sphere, so maybe it seems weird to me. I guess it's enough of that. Frieren, another episode about relationships. I am noticing a recurring trend of this show, and this was never supposed to happen, but I've noticed it last weekend. This show, Frieren has literally become the Hermes bike, and I hate it. At least for me in general, how much I complain about her.
How's she become the Hermes bike?
How about how much I've complained about her?
Oh yeah.
The frequency at which I've complained about her is matched to Hermes bike at this point, and was never the intention. But I just don't like the way.
I didn't get upset because everything I predicted about her is true so far.
I don't like that she's treating him like garbage. That upsets me a great deal. It really freaking does, because it doesn't make any. She doesn't act like that when they first meet her. It's like it. She's like a sarcastic kid, yeah, but like she never seemed to be rude or mean for being mean's sake.
Yeah.
In this episode, and then it's like, is this another episode of relationships? I've noticed at this point, and I think another real huge part of relationships, the relationship episodes that I don't like a lot. Stark is made to just take the hits and not dish them back out. I would really their interactions like this aren't fun to watch because he's taking the brunt of everything. He's not insulting her back. Like, he should actually insult her back if the whole idea is that they're supposed to, you know, get along or fall in love at some point. That's typically how those relationships go, is that they fight back and forth. They don't, one isn't supposed to completely demoralize the other one. That's not fun or fair to both characters. So I don't know why this seems to be what's happening, is that Fern seems to be the one doing all the damage, like mental damage to Stark, and Stark just has to take it. Like she's not perfect. I don't know why he isn't targeting her imperfections. Like it's clear that Fern wants to insult him. Engage, man. Even the most timid dude has their limits. Like, am I wrong? Like, shouldn't he fight back? I mean, not physically, just saying, like, insult, like, give back to her what she's been giving to him. At the very least, make those interactions fun, because they're annoying. Like, every time she does it, I just say, oh, here we go again. And I tell you, I'm telling you, if she goes back to insulting him next episode, after this episode, I'm gonna be far more upset. Because they could have used this episode. I know you don't care. I know you don't care.
Visuals? What if specifically alternate visuals does not like him?
I'm not the only one who has this issue, because apparently it's all over the internet. People have like searches around. There are multiple people who have issues with Fern's attitude.
Yeah, everybody will always hate every female character.
This isn't about me hating a female character. This is about me hating, like, not just like liking her attitude towards Stark specifically. I feel like
I know. What I'm saying though is citing the internet for not liking a female character as like a source of support for your premise is not necessarily the strongest argument. Whether or not your feelings are valid, the internet's general consensus about a female character is probably not the way to go.
Fine, drop it. But I honestly, these interactions are just not fun. I feel like they're supposed to be fun and funny. All I'm feeling is just, I feel sorry and more sorry for Stark as we go along. To me, I feel like he should just quit. He should just go back to Eisen. I mean, he's had enough adventures at this point. He could tell Eisen that he's had a good adventure. He's fought and killed the dragon. He's done a lot at this point. I don't know why he bothers subjecting himself, and yes, I'm saying subjecting himself, to Fern's complete and utter disregard for his feelings. Mm-hmm. This is so annoying. Like, it really freaking is. It's legitimately very annoying. It's like, it may sound like I'm complaining about Fern specifically, which I am. I mean, but at the same time, it's like, it's not like I hate her specifically. I don't like her attitude. And I hate the fact that there's episodes that show her being nice to him, but then she goes right back and it goes back to being rude to him. And the worst part is, she's been more rude to him than nice to him. And I get we're only 15 episodes in at this point, so I'm guessing the argument probably isn't the soundest, but still it annoys me that he's only been with him for a year, and I'm pretty sure like 11 of those months she's been insulting him. That entire year he's been with them, she's probably only been nice to him for like a month, at the freaking very least. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I guess she doesn't have to be nice to him, but at the same time, why is he taking all of this and not dishing it back? At the very least, insult her, so at least this is funny. At the very, like, I want to be able to laugh at it, but I can't when she's being so cruel and for no reason. And I get you're saying that this is just leading to, is like, I've seen relationships like this in anime. They've usually been fun. I don't know what's so fun about this particular back and forth, or I say really just her dishing it to him. I've seen most of these types of things. Like, I'm not against a girl falling in love with a guy over the course of a time, But like, I just don't see these two don't seem compatible to me. Like they did, like I mean, he gets upset whenever she is mad at him. He runs away, and that's a freaking about it. She feels bad, apologizes one episode, and goes right back to insulting him later. I don't I really don't see the compatibility with these two. She seems very indifferent to him. Like, I don't know why she's going out of her way to make him feel small when he's very freaking powerful. I mean, like, it's not like he's weak. Like, I guess what I'm saying, I don't know what you specifically find fun about her interactions with him, or maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm making assumptions, but like, I don't know how you're not angry at this.
I just because it's a typical formulaic love story, and I'm like, I figured out and called it many episodes ago that this was the trajectory it would take, and I'm just like, okay, it's one of those formulaic love stories. So the drama of it is kind of lost on me because I already kind of knew how it was going to turn out, which is all right. I know how it's going to turn out, and if it doesn't go exactly in a straight line, and she reverts a little bit in the future, it's still going to be this way in the end. So I don't know. She's Frieren's mom, and she's his wife.
We get into the whole Frieren's mom thing in a minute because it's really weird. But at the same time, like, aren't in most those love stories though? I'm just sitting here saying, aren't in most of all those love stories usually the two that are supposed to fall in love with each other fighting back and forth? That's not happening here. Like, at all. That's what I'm saying. At least I could see it if maybe he was fighting back with her, back and forth. Like or I guess you know more. You've seen more stories like this. Are any of those stories you're referring to the guy's timid, and he's just taking it?
Pride and Prejudice. Princess Bride.
There's gotta be a limit though. Stark can fight back. I just want him to do to her what she's doing to him. I feel like that's fair. I really feel like that's fair. If she's gonna keep on doing this to him and hurting his very small, if there's any ego in him left, I feel like he should be allowed to dish back what she's doing to him. Insult her. She isn't perfect, and she's acting like she is.
Have you watched the show Princess Bride?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't really sat down and watched it.
Oh, it starts out with her being super rude to Wesley, Princess Buttercup, and I'm ruining like the first 8 minutes of the movie. He's a farm boy, and she's like her farm boy, like, you know, he's there to serve her, and she intentionally gives him mundane tasks to like do, you know, like, you know, farm boy, go get me a pitcher of water, and farm boy, like, you know, do this, do that, and every time she does, he just says, as you wish. And then after a while, she realizes that when he says, as you wish, no matter how rude she is, no matter how petulant, no matter how demanding, he just says, as you wish, and does it. And eventually she realizes that when he says, as you wish, he's saying, I love you. And then when he comes back as the Dread Pirate Roberts later on, she doesn't know who he is. And she's screaming at him because she doesn't know who she is. She thinks he's a pirate, to be fair. And then she says, you could just die for all I care. And she pushes him up down a hill, and he's like rolling down the hill, and he goes, as you wish. And then she realizes it's him. But yeah, she's a dick to him in the first few minutes of the movie. And it's implied that the first few minutes of the movie are actually a really long time, you know, and then they fall in love. It's just a trope. I'd have to think a little harder to find another one, but it's just every single time it happens, like, you just know that the direction it's going.
He's not timid.
If there's a main male character and a main female character, and one or both of them are being a dick to the other, they're going to fall in love by the end of the show. That's just the way it works.
But that example wasn't him taking anything. Well, I guess you could say, but I guess he's just doing what his job is. Like, I'm just saying, I feel like it's different here with how, like, because he doesn't respond. He doesn't respond indifferent to her. He just literally is affected by every single insult that she's throwing at him. It doesn't sound like your dude from the movie is affected by anything she's doing to him.
Well, hang on a second. Let me show you a specific moment. It has it, but I'm trying to find a better one. Hang on. All right, 116. Hang on. And this one, and the one I'm going to send you, which is one of the last ones she does, she's just straight up fucking with him. Like, this picture is like practically touching her shoulder, and she tells him to go get it.
Why is she being a double back? Come on, boy. Fetch me that picture. That's your
Dude.
No, Sarah, but that's not. He's aware of what she's doing. I can see it in his face. Of course, she's
in
doing
that last moment, but like she's doing shit like that though. That's like the thing. Like, she's like being petulant and demanding and unappreciative, and giving him inane things to do. You know.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Like, I mean, it's something really specific about what Fern's doing. It's just like she's purposely. I mean, even the whole saying his dick small thing. That is so freaking rude and did not need to be said. If she was just trying to be mean to him, she was like demoralizing the heck out of him there.
What if she wasn't trying to be an asshole? What if she just sort of like, what if she just sort of blurted it out? Like, what if that wasn't her trying to be a dick? What if she just blurted that one out? She had no filter.
But like Science said, I mean, granted, I mean, that's mostly what she's probably more likely doing. But like even Science says, like she's got to realize that things she's saying to a boy her age is going to cause him to freak out. He's not old enough to compartmentalize things, or whatever he Science specifically said during that episode prior. It just like, I don't know. She's very freaking rude for no reason. I mean, episode 15, like basically, like. They get pulled. The team gets pulled into a castle from a I guess like royals who apparently kind of come from the same exact area that Stark comes from, which is also funny and kind of coincidental. Like the same part of like I guess the world that the Stark's family used to live in before they got killed by demons. But even there, like she was like, this entire episode was showing, that she can in fact be nice, which is like, it's not like I need to know that she can be nice. She's done it multiple times. I just need to know when she's gonna stop being mean for mean's sake. I mean, yeah, he does something perverted or something worth being yelled at for, yeah, by all means. But it's like he's done absolutely nothing to deserve half the treatment that she's been given. They don't know each other. He's only been with them for 1 year out of the 3 to 4 years that Frieren and Fern have been together. Like, she should just be indifferent and not really say much to him. I mean, she may say some side remarks, maybe, not just straight up be mean, like for mean's sake. Cause that's what it feels like to me. Is like she's being mean for mean's sake, with no real end game. But I guess I'm saying I can see the whole boy falls in girl love of girl. Well, in this case, girl falls in love with boy. But it's like, to me, Fern's nowhere near. It doesn't seem like Fern and Stark really share any similarities. They share a moment this episode when Fern sees that he can be a gentleman, but she even says that, like, I guess it's the same thing as you wish in this situation, but like she says, like, it doesn't suit you throughout the entirety of the episode. I find kind of cute, but at the same time, I don't know if that was an insult or if she was just being genuinely honest about all the etiquette classes they were taking. I also will say these etiquette classes, it was kind of interesting how much she was making fun of Stark. Well, like for having to do this, or or telling Stark we need the money, and like Stark was complaining about how hard this was. And all she said was like, we need the money, and then she was brought right into the etiquette classes too because Stark couldn't go to the dance alone. I find it strange. Like, why can't they just get Frieren? Frieren looks almost the exact same age as Fern. She could literally pass for a girl her Fern's age. Well, whatever. And then like Fern I like the one moment she was teaching how to eat like a lady, and then she was about to grab a donut, and she got her hand slapped almost immediately as she was reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
That was like really funny. I was like, oh, but I think I wonder how many other people like. I'm actually kind of curious if like red hair or whatever color hair Stark's got is like the sign of a royal in this world. Because it sounds like warrior tribes of people are a common thing. Considering we ran into another one, so I can only think there must be multiple, groups of royal warriors roaming around that either may have been displaced, or in this particular case, are living somewhere far north. I guess speaking of Stark and the whole role thing, I did also love the we learned a little bit more about Stark, and we see that Stark is still holding on to a lot of like what his childhood was like, learning how to fight, with his family, and his father not appreciating him enough, and Stark being called weak and not having any talent, where his brother seemed to cherish him a lot. I do love how like when Stark is like running with the king here, he notices that his son is like training, and he says like he has no talent, but he says that, and Stark says a moment of like remembering that was said about him when he was younger. But then apparently what was different here was that guy actually loved his children and loved his both sons equally, and he didn't and also said hard work will make him stronger than me eventually. And then Stark was like, well, you should tell him and not me. He was like, I tell him all the time. But unfortunately, it's got
it was such a nice line. I was so surprised to hear him say that.
Yeah, it was interesting to see like that we have a little bit of Stark. We learned that Stark here is still holding on to a lot of baggage from that time as he was younger. But I guess another thing too, I'm actually kind of curious, and I don't know. We'll have to see next episode to see if this is if this is true or not. But we cut away after like Stark is like kind of being trained by that guy in swordsmanship, when he says like you can be calm, you can train here in peace. But then we cut away and we don't see what he learned. I'm curious if Stark was rewarded with any actual training from this guy, and any moves that he can use later on. I'd be interested to see if he took on his that guy's fighting style. I'm guessing. What I'm gonna call it right now, because I don't know exactly what the sword training he was teaching him is. We see that and we cut away, so I don't know if Stark learned anything, or he was just letting Stark swing a sword.
The what I liked about it, just a little tiny side note, is that he was learning swordplay. Do you know what I mean? And remember, I told you that I think eventually he's going to have to pick up that sword and the stone sword.
I don't know. Part of me thought, I understand what you're saying, but part of me thought that sword that's in the stone is fake too. To me, it's like I feel like it'd be the funniest thing in the world. It'd piss some people off for sure, but I think the idea that maybe the the legend of the sword is really the power, and it's what led Himmel to be able to let him to possessed Himmel to want to defeat the Demon King as vehemently as he wanted to. Is like pulling the sword was supposed to have been the demon's bane or like that, but unfortunately he couldn't pull it. But it'd be funny if like you said does come true, if Stark pulls it, but the sword is fake too. I would laugh. There had to be an actual legitimate explanation behind everything, but I bet they could pull it off. But that's if the sword was fake. Maybe there really was a sword, but the town lost it. So in order to keep the legend going, so that nobody would be any wiser, they made an actual prop sword and put it in the cave. Though actually, no, they could explain the shield thing with maybe somebody just put on a very powerful barrier that the demons couldn't get towards. There's a way to explain a fake sword and the legend being fake too.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a fake sword, but I still my call is still that Stark is eventually going to get that sword, and that this sword play that he's engaged in right now is going to that this sword play that they're doing, like the sword play that he's doing right now, that like the work that he's doing is going to turn out that way. Like he's going to learn how to use a sword instead of an axe, and then he's going to happen to have an opportunity to grab that sword or a need to. And I think that's how it's going to turn out.
You talking about learning how to use? He's already know how to use a sword. Like that was the training that he did as a kid that his father said he was no good at, or whatever like that, or he was too weak for, and his brother was trying to teach him. Like Stark had sword training. It's just I think this is a continuation of that. I don't think he's learning from scratch how to use a sword. This is that's like what I'm taking from it. Because I mean, Stark does shake. Stark is shaking when he's trying to hold onto the sword, but then the guy says like you can train here in peace. Nobody will judge you. Basically, that's just as he's still hanging on baggage from when he was a kid learning how to use a sword. I'm not saying you're wrong about him having to pick up a sword later. I'm saying like Stark has already had sword training. It's just that his father was very mean to him about it, mean spirited to him about it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he got the best training then that he could have.
I mean, I was saying I agree with you, but I'm just saying that he got something, I'm guessing, from him in the form of an attack or something. Maybe I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like Stark throughout the entirety of this is also becoming blessed by warriors that see how powerful he is, and that how others don't. And it's interesting how so far this is the second warrior that he's met that did that. The first one being the guy from the town prior to all the demons first attack. I don't know how many more warriors he's gonna come across.
Did you find it interesting at the beginning of the episode that they were casually talking about who they needed for their next party member?
I don't think they need him. I mean, I don't think it was weird. I think this design was just saying something to because he wanted a lady a little bit older than him and not as old as Frieren. I don't think they need anybody. I mean, they did. I mean, Frieren did throw out a thief, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. That's an odd job class to throw out, but I don't know. I don't know if a thief would work for them because a thief sounds like a guy that or a girl that would be very not trustworthy.
It
I
reminded
can't.
me. Have you ever read The Hobbit?
It, I'm just gonna just be honestly. I have not touched or read anything that from the J.R. Tolkien show series or anything related
Mhm.
to fantasy books. I'm sorry, but I'm aware of The
Okay.
Hobbit. Never watched it.
That's a very long answer to something you could have just said no to. Um, you're aware of Bilbo Baggins at all? Like the main character?
I feel like I've heard of Baggins. I don't really
Um,
know, so no.
the main character of the story, The Hobbit, is Bilbo Baggins. He's a little dude, little short dude that like lives in this little podunk area, like never's left. And when Gandalf hires him to join the dwarves to defeat the dragon, he calls him a burglar, which was such a strange line. Like he's like, "We need a burglar for our party," and that reminded me of that line that like they're like, "Oh, we need a thief," and it's equally seems out of place as a bunch of dwarves intentionally traveling with someone that's a burglar by trade, especially since one of the dwarves was the king of dwarves. So I don't know. It felt a little bit um, Tolkien-esque when I heard that.
I mean, the thing is, as cool as it would be for them to have a thief, I just don't think you could trust a thief in this universe. Like, I mean, like, because, like, typically, at least the thieves that I've played games with, not that they were ever really thieving from me or anything like that, though they kind of had this sly personality about them where they, you can never really truly trust them. And I can honestly sit there and, I can honestly sit here and tell you, I don't know if I would trust a thief in this universe. Nobody with that job title would be trustworthy. I don't care what kind of story that they have in their background that led them down that path. I feel like it'd be the equivalent of Catwoman. Like
I don't know.
it'd just be really freaking weird. I don't know if I would like that character joining them, but hey, maybe they can
Uh,
make it work. I don't know.
I think I would. I think I'd let probably give a black guy a shot if you want to join my party. I mean, a thief. I would give a thief a shot if you want to join my party.
I realize you're joking, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I always tell you. Never say that in a crowd of black people. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just like I always tell you this, and I know you're joking, but I'm just being legitimately serious. Regardless, it's like I know you say you won't, but I feel like it'd still be one of those things that could slip through your lips, and you didn't mean it, and you weren't trying to say it. I'm just saying, be
Can I
aware of your
just,
speech.
if they start kicking the shit out of me, can I give him like your number and say like, hey, he'll vouch for me?
I wouldn't pick up.
Oh man.
It's like I see your number. I'm like, oh Lord, he just said the words in a crowd of black folk, didn't
There's
he?
only one reason he'd be calling me right now.
I just look at the number. I was like, well, you gotta learn your lesson. It's like
The voicemail would be priceless, wouldn't it?
hey Jeremy, you gotta help me, man. I didn't mean to. Hey, watch me just stick it there. Well, you gotta help me. You gotta help me. Pick up the phone. I know you're listening to this.
You're the only one I got. You're the only one that can help.
I just see looking at that phone. I'm like, I'm gonna learn today. I tried to warn you multiple times before this happened. You didn't listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you're joking, but at the same time, I'm just saying I'm being honestly trying to be helpful because like every person is different. So I'm not saying that every crowd of people like that you just say that and they all beat you up, but it's like I know there'd be certain people on certain days of the week that you just said that in the wrong area and they're like, oh, you got the wrong person. But all joking aside, it's just the idea of a thief. I swear, if they do have a thief and the thief has dark skin, I'm gonna be very, very, very weirded out by this. But actually, I'm thinking about it, typically aren't thieves like typically dark elves? Oh God. Okay, moving on from that. I say it was. I guess it was kind of weird, but I honestly just took it as like because like after they brought up the thief thing, Sign went on to being a pervert. Which I also want to say too, not many people. I'm not sure this is true or not. Maybe somebody can confirm this. I feel like Sign's English VA sounds surprisingly a lot like Sanji from One Piece. It's very eerie, and I only bring this up because if this is true, this is the same VA. Sanji is also a dude who likes older women. And tries to court a lot of them in the show whenever he's on there. He really loves the opposite sex, as I would say that much. It's like a common thing with that character in One Piece. So like, it's just interesting that they recruited a character who not only smokes, by the way, because Sanji does smoke too. There's also blonde. It's very weird. Well, Sanji I think is younger than him. I don't know how old Zion is. They didn't really get you given age. I assume he's in his 30s, but it's just odd that it seems like that's the same guy. If it is the same guy, I'd be laughing. It's like, oh dear, they really decided to. They gave this VA. They typecast this VA. But let's see what that. They basically the whole idea of start pretending to be the prince in this episode. I don't think I said, but yeah, they apparently when they were walking near the town of the warriors, they were gonna go past them, but then they got stopped by the royals living in that town, the king specifically, because he saw Stark and initially thought that he was his son back from the dead. That was interesting that he says that to him, but he basically convinces Stark to pretend to be a son for a gathering to give his town some morale as he tried to build up their forces to deal with the demons again. But you know, Stark does that, and they get their money. Apparently, they get a lot of money, enough money to actually afford 3 meals a day for a full year and a couple of desserts. So I thought was interesting, like the amount of money. Like I guess Frieren must be the party's like holder of the wallet. But basically after that, I think like is that the entire episode? Just them at the thing? No. There's another part too. I just remembered. The later parts I think more interesting about specifically about Zine and him with the rest of the party. They get to a town that's apparently got covered in a curse. Covered in a curse, which is I guess basically in this world it's just magic that puts people to sleep, but because apparently regular mages don't have the ability to dispel this kind of magic, because they don't have magic granted by the goddess, which is an interesting bit of moral lore to this world. Now apparently clerics, priests specifically, have magic granted to them by the priest, but I guess I mean by the goddess, which I guess makes sense more like she's leaving literal like books or whatever or Bibles on the earth for people who are devout to be able to pick them up and use her spells. I thought it was really cool that also Sign revealed that he's not only just a priest, he's got battle magic as well. But based off of the way, maybe it's just the type of monster he was fighting, but I don't know how powerful the spears of the goddess really are, considering that he cast it into the plant, decided to reflect it, and nearly killed him and Frieren as well. But that happened because the plant was the source of the spell, the curse over the town. I also do love how Frieren is like she's not like she isn't like in particularly. She doesn't. It's not that she doesn't like the goddess spells, but she just doesn't fool around with it because she isn't like in tune with it, naturally attuned in it like everybody else. But I thought it was kind of cool. Like there's magic that she can't use, and I guess that upsets her. But like we found out Zion is like I guess it's interesting that we have this priest now. I wonder if he's going to disappear from this crew because I feel like he might, based on his end goal being his friend. But it'd be really sad if they lose their priest, their one and only priest. But this part of the episode is a little bit more about, I guess, Zion trusting Frieren in her word. Because like as they're going, like Frieren says that she doesn't want, like after Fern and Stark both get affected by the cursing, fall asleep, and have another cute moment underneath the tree. Yeah, I saw it, but like Frieren ends up getting affected by the spell further in, and then Zion, because he has a natural immunity to curses, walks up and finds a plant, and Frieren says, "I like wake me up, because I don't want you fighting that plant alone, and I'll kill it real quick." Zion's like, "Well, you can't kill it in 5 seconds." I thought they're saying, "You don't know this girl. She probably could kill it in 5 seconds."
Mm-hmm.
And she actually does. Prove my point was proven. Because after he has this little like in his mind of like, man, do I trust her or do I not trust her? He remembers Hyder again. Hyder being the voice of reason for this party. Interesting how many times Hyder's words have actually helped out everybody who's ever met him. But he brings up like, Frieren said that she killed the Demon King, and she was apparently she was off of her word, which is interesting because I always thought that Himmel was the one that killed the Demon King. Apparently it was Frieren, or I don't know the full details of that fight. They make it sound like Frieren was the one that killed it, so I don't really know that. Like, hopefully we get the details of that fight because I'm curious. But after like Simon says, well, okay, like don't blame me for if something bad happens. And he wakes her up and he's like, Frieren, and then she just holds the staff and then shoots off to the side and then kills the thing. I just thought
like it ain't no thing,
huh?
Like it ain't no thing.
Well, of course not, because she says that she's already aware that this thing can reflect magic. I was like, oh dang, okay. I wonder how much she knew before she knew it. Is the other question I actually have. But after that, everybody wakes up. Well, except for Stark wakes up, but Fern doesn't. So I'm guessing Fern just passed out because she was tired. Stark is like, well, this is different. Like, I'm surprised she didn't wake him and call him pervert, but whatever.
Before we get to that, what did you think about the fact that they spent so much time talking about how they're like, I have no idea what she's thinking whatsoever. I can only trust her words, I guess. And just kind of like, sorry, I can only trust her words. Like, I have no idea what she's thinking, and I'm gonna go with that. Doesn't that still sound like someone like not trusting a demon? Like, you know how they said like that's what happened with the demons. Like nobody could really know what they were thinking, and they trust their words, and then like they regret it. I still think that even stuff like that might be foreshadowing that Frieren is something extra that we're going to learn about.
I don't believe that. I mean, there may be some similarities. I don't think that she's anything more than what she is as an elf, because the thing is, like, the other elf that she met would have made mention. There's no way another elf wouldn't have like picked up on a very on an elf of that would be that of an. I want to say here. There's no way another elf wouldn't have picked up on something strange about Frieren when they met out of the blue, like that last guy did. That monk guy doesn't seem like the type of dude that will let small things, past him. And that's not to say that maybe he's keeping it to himself, but at the same time, I feel like he wouldn't, considering that there are humans traveling with her at the time, like young humans. On top of that, I feel like he would have said something, maybe keep an eye out on her or something.
Unless he's the same thing, but he's much older, so he's even better at hiding it. He's still certainly awkward. They felt awkward around him the entire time that they visited him.
Because he was mysterious. He wasn't letting people know in his past. I don't know, I don't really know if there's anything bad about that.
If you've done something terrible, that's one reason that you might not want people to know about your past.
What are you insinuating that Frieren is? Are you saying she's not an elf?
I'm saying that elves might be something I mean, we know that this very specific person named demons demons. Like, the master named demons demons. Like, before that, they weren't called demons. Like, I think that it's possible that elves are more than they seem. I don't know exactly what more than they seem means yet, but I think the elves are more than they seem. I don't know if that's going to turn out to be a bad or a good thing or neither, but I'm convinced that they're more than they seem.
You're the only one so far that I've noticed that's been making comparisons to demons and elves. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm just saying that just like I've never heard. Like, I know you've read stories that this is a thing, but I don't know. I just find it hard to believe, considering that like elves and demons both have specific characteristics to them that make them what they are. Like, I can't imagine an elf suddenly growing a freaking horn out of nowhere. That'd just be freaking weird. And a tail.
Maybe they don't need horn and a tail. Like, what is? I'm not saying that that's a necessary part of it. I just mean that we've been hearing some stories in the previous episodes where this thing that was very hard to read and didn't have any clear connection to emotion was something that they tried to trust. And I'm not even speaking about a specific storyline. This has happened a few times in Frieren so far. And then they trusted them, and things seemed good for a short period of time, and then they were a disaster.
I mean, yeah, but also, like, why can't it just be people? Frieren is not a people person. There are people who are like that. I'm talking about introverts specifically, but like, I mean, there are people who just aren't people. I mean, even Fern, I would almost sit there and say, like, she's a little bit of like that too. You know, she's pretty indifferent to people. You know, she's insulting Stark at times she gets, but still, it's like, you know, I don't know. I just think that's just a personality quirk that she's got. I don't think it really means anything. At least it's what like how I'm reading, you know, like Frieren's characteristics and mannerisms. I don't really think they mean it. On top of that, I mean the whole like why they gotta have like that's what they said. Like the demons have horns and I don't know if anything in the tell, but the demons have horns. Like we even saw that the demons that we saw in the other town we saw for the first time, they have horns.
Yeah, I didn't. For the second time now, I've said I don't necessarily think horns are necessary, and I'm not necessarily saying that Frieren is a demon.
And I just find it hard to believe that she's something more than like, because like I mean that means all elves are or not, I guess not saying you're not saying all elves. I'm just saying like it makes it seem like they're like I guess there's a select of elves. I don't know. I find it hard.
It's possible that it's possible that it's all elves.
I still find that hard to freaking believe just based off like, you know, I mean, granted, I guess I can't say I know anything because I don't. I was like, you know, I mean, they said they haven't met elves for a long time, but I just find it strange because they treat elves and demons as two separate entities. I don't know how. I mean, if there is something that they did come from, it just seems really weird that nobody's brought up that they don't know where elves came from, or like they don't say that elves just suddenly popped up one day. They make it sound like they've been there for millennia. They're just a part of the world, you know. They just accepted it. Now, fortunately, a lot of them died off. But I was like, even with that idea, like, why would demons kill kin? I feel like, I mean, I know that they don't necessarily take family seriously, because I feel like maybe there are some. I mean, Aura seemed different, kind of. So it's like I feel like there's got to be. I mean, you're saying like the higher up they go, the more they're different. I don't know. It just seems really.
The older, I think it's more like. I think it's more like the older they are, the more time they've had to imitate people, but they still never understand. They understand the how, but not the why. Just like Frieren was saying about magic in the last episode. I think they understand the how, but not the why in a lot of situations, and I think it's possible. Like one of my working theories is that Frieren and elves are like demons, except that the outcome for demons is evil and the outcome for elves is good, but otherwise they work the same way. I think it seems to be one of the most likely theories, but that elf that they met that was much older than Frieren and apparently had some sort of sketchy past that he didn't want to talk about made me a little curious whether or not there might be something darker going on here. If Frieren ever decided to turn on them, like, they'd be in a lot of trouble. And if this is all like, if she's been using them as pawns for like some sort of rivalry between her and another demon to like become king of the demons or become king of the Fae, and it turns out elves and demons were demons, both demons all along, or just different varieties or feuding clans of demons or something like that, and the horned demons are like one clan and the other demons that look like Frieren with long pointy ears are another clan. Like, that could turn out, it could turn out that she's been using them as pawns.
I feel like that's a stretch. I just don't see her turning. I don't see her for two things. First, I don't see her doing that, and two, she seems way too lazy to be thinking that far ahead. Like, seriously, she seems way too lazy, and I don't think her apathy is a ruse. I think that's really how she is, because she seemed that lazy when she was with Himmel. Like, you know, like, why would she be doing this when she's going to heaven to talk with Himmel? It just seems freaking really weird. All that to say that she's like using people. It's like, I highly doubt that she's doing that. Hey, what's that?
But she could be. She could be.
I think that's still a stretch because I just don't see it, and I'm like, there's no way. At least in my mind, there's no way. She's way too lazy. Like, if she was a lot more like, I guess, like gung ho and, you know, more willing to, I would agree, but I just find it difficult to believe that. She had to do something really jacked up for me to actually believe that. And I mean real jacked up.
Could be though. It doesn't really matter to her how long she's been doing it for. Like, she has no sense of urgency in her life, so if she decided to do it for like 1,000 years, like, it's not that big of a deal to her. I think the strongest counter argument is that when nobody left to her own, she just hung out and gathered herbs and stuff like that. I think that's the strongest counter argument to what I'm saying. But again, one of my working theories is that they're the same thing, except that demons, when left to their own devices, do horrible things, and elves, when left to their own devices, do nice things. But neither of them really understand how people work, and aren't capable of fully understanding how people work. They can understand the how, but not the why. It's possible that elves are like the good version of demons, but that they both operate in a similar way. It's certainly how Frieren works so far. And like I said, that other elf who's had a lot more time to emulate human behavior could have been in the same boat, just he's much older and he's had like another, I don't know, 5,000 years to figure it out.
I know she just is a counter argument, but like the whole you talking about because they don't understand magic as a counter, as a didn't Frieren say that humans don't like know about curses, but they don't understand curses? I feel like if you're going to use that argument, you have to apply that to humans as well.
What would apply to humans?
Like, humans understand curses, but they don't understand. I mean, they don't understand curses, but they know about them. Like the same exact thing. Like they don't understand how curses work. Like they know about them, but they don't understand how they work. That was specifically towards the humans.
I don't know. I don't understand when did I say that?
No, you didn't say that. I'm just saying this is like, because you're saying like, you know, Frieren shares similarities with demons, about that they don't understand. Like they see something, but they don't completely understand it. I mean, that exact thing, same thing could be applied to humans, because like Frieren has said in this episode that humans don't understand. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I understand your line of thought, but I'm just saying, to me, it's like I really do. I'm not convinced. And I haven't been convinced the entire time when you brought it up. Like, I mean, maybe that one elf that we're seeing in the intro, but again, as I keep going back to her, we don't know what she's doing or what she like, where the heck she's at, if she's even going to show up in the show. But like, maybe
She's
that
going to
one
show up in the
elf.
show. They're not just throwing a random elf in there as a MacGuffin. Like she's going to show up in the show.
You don't know. I'm just saying it's possible. I mean, I'm still waiting. I don't know when. I don't know what they're waiting for. It doesn't make any sense. Just throw her in there like you did that one elf, and then have her come back later on. You don't necessarily need to wait for a seriously like right moment. To me, it's like introduce her. It just get us curious about her. I mean, I guess granted they did that with the intro, but not everybody's paying attention to that thing. I'm one of the one weirdos who paid attention to that. But yes, people, if you notice that you're weird, just deal with it. But but uh, but I'm just saying, all I'm really saying is like I don't know if you can really like because I feel like to me is like all her mannerisms, the things you're using to say that to justify your line of thought. I still find it difficult to like because it's like to me it's like I just think this is how Frieren is. I don't think this is all elves. You don't really know that because we only met another elf who I didn't feel weird around. Apparently you did. I don't know, but like we only like met two elves at this point. The one we're traveling with and the one that we ran across randomly in the cold and like that was it. I'm just not convinced that all elves are like Frieren. I think Frieren is just that one weird one, like because she grew up alone for the most part until Flame came and found her, and then taught her really poorly.
She didn't grow up alone. She was alone for like 5 minutes.
Well, either way, is like I think that's just how she is. Is basically all I'm really trying to say. I don't think it has anything to really correlate to a similarity between her and a demon. I mean, again, could be wrong. I'm just saying, but I find it really hard to believe, and I haven't really, I've been following along with you, but like, I'm still like just a gut feeling of like I just don't, I just don't. So something about it doesn't, fit for me specifically. That's not to say I'm right. That's not to say you're right. I'm just saying for me, like what I've seen and what I'm using as a, using gut reactionally is like, I don't know. I've seen characters kind of like her, not to her extreme, but I've seen characters like her in other shows, and they've just been introverts. They've just been people who don't interact with people a lot, and because of that, they act weird. That doesn't mean they're a demon. They're just socially awkward. I think that's like what Frieren is in my eyes. She's a social awkward elf. She doesn't meet a lot of people. The people that she did meet, she didn't get a chance to try to get to know when they were alive because time didn't matter for her. But she didn't completely understand that time didn't matter for them. I mean, time mattered for them. Or it wasn't like she didn't understand. She just never thought too much about it. Because she's like, oh, I'm gonna be here, and like they're gonna be here too. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Humans got a pitifully short lifespan compared to elves and demons and everything else in that world. I mean, they'd be lucky they live to be 100. But yeah, like, well, I understand your thought process on Frieren. I just like, to me, it's like I'm just not convinced. I'm like, I haven't been convinced yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna find out, maybe, depending on how much they milk this concept by the end of the series.
But I can see that elf we don't know anything about being really the center of what you're saying. I could see that because I don't know a dang thing about her, and she looks creepy as heck. But like, or he, I don't even know. I shouldn't try and gender that elf in there. But that particular elf that we don't know a dang thing about, and they just look insane. Like they look like they're there. Got some like they got some ulterior motive ahead of them, but again, we don't know because we haven't seen that one yet. I wonder if that monk elf has a connection to that elf, and we're gonna see him later. And she's gonna be around. I don't even know, but they defeat the plan, and that's about it. I mean, then at the end, like Frieren like congratulates Saren for like for trusting her, and then she jumps up on his head and pats him. And for the first time since he's been with them, he actually just accepts it, which I find funny. I was like, oh, he likes it now. Apparently, that's interesting. Getting a head pat from Frieren. Usually he's like, man, will you stop doing
that? He likes the gesture of it. It's still awkward.
That's the one thing he likes that he got it from her. I mean, I'm not saying that, he's come around on the fact that she's over 1,000 years old and she's technically the older woman. I just think that, it's one of those things like he's finally accepting some kind of contact from her, because at first he wasn't. The way she looked bothered him, but now he's like, okay, now he's okay, kind of. I suspect that will change if he hangs around with them long enough. I don't even know. Again, I didn't even know. I only really knew about, like, ahead of time for the show. I only knew about the group of Frieren, and Stark because fans, shipping Fern and Stark together, and then I thought, and this is just a weird thing, I could have sworn, because I was seeing everywhere before watching the show about some type of marriage. I don't know if this is like spoiler or anything like that, but it's just things I was hearing that I don't think are true, because like we got to the cabin, which is where all that stuff I was hearing about marriage coming up, and none of that happened. Mm-hmm. In fact, Fern treated him like garbage the entire time that episode. So I'm like, where in the world did the marriage thing come up? Why am I hearing so much? So I'm starting to think that what I heard was wrong. So that's the only reason why I'm saying it out loud. Somebody in probably listening to this probably snickering because I probably said something correct and I did not know, but I won't know until much later. But yeah, it's like Silver. I was like, I don't like what I'm trying to get is like I did not know about Siren, so I don't know if he's sticking around or if he's gonna be a temporary character. The fact that he makes such a big deal about having a priest when he joined makes me think that he is gonna stick around for a lot longer than I'm anticipating. And maybe his friend joins them. I don't know though. I can't imagine his friend joining them, but maybe he would. I had no idea. Cause my suspicion with Siren is like he's gonna meet his friend and he's gonna have to decide between staying with Frieren or going with him, and he's gonna have a hard time doing it because he's already gotten to know Stark, Fern, and Frieren. He's grown a tiny bit attached to them, attached enough where he would be considering maybe not joining his friend. But the episode pretty much ends after that. Apparently, according to you, ChatGTP said apparently this episode's supposed to be a banger. So I guess we'll see. There was a lot of words in the outro to the episode, setting up the next episode. I didn't completely get it all, but I guess I could believe it. I don't really know. Again, I don't know what's happening. I didn't even look at the title. But you got any more notes, good sir? Or any notes, period?
Yeah, no, I think I do. Give me 1 second.
Right, a good point.
All right, let me run. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 11. Let me take my pills really quick.
Not gonna lie, I thought you were taking them.
Take them at 11. Okay. I already said it was interesting. They looked for a new party member. I liked the little foreshadowing. This is an example, by the way. This teaches you how this show works. If you notice, like, Fern fell asleep in the wagon right before they went into the village where everybody was asleep. Like, this show is like teaching you, like, they're like, we use little signs like that to foreshadow things, which goes back to me, like, with a lot of the predictions I'm making, like, they follow a macro scale of these little micro foreshadowings that the show tends to do.
She could have just been tired.
She could have just been tired, but she falls asleep suddenly in the middle of the day on a bumpy carriage and lands on Frieren. That's not just a coincidence, I don't think. I think they did that to foreshadow the town that has a sleep curse that they're going into. Frieren doesn't believe in gods, but she believes that goddesses provide magic to priests, which I thought was an interesting little discordant moment in the show. I'm curious what's really going on there. because she doesn't believe in a god, but she believes that goddesses are providing special magic to priests.
I think she believes that the priest believes that the goddess is doing something. I think she still doesn't. I don't think she believes that the goddess is really sending um magic down. The way she was kind of talking about it, I don't know. It's like I only joked around saying that she was upset that she couldn't harness it, because she basically says that she couldn't be bothered to try to like read the tomes that are left on the ground. Uh, like she doesn't say those exact words, I don't think, but she does. She kind of like she gives me the impression that like she may have taken a look at them, but she didn't, because she could never really cast them, and it wasn't in her wheelhouse. She didn't care. So like, all that stuff with the goddess probably just to her, is gibberish. I still get that. I still get the feeling that like she doesn't believe in the goddess, even though people around her do.
She was talking about it in a very specific way here. She's like, I can't do this because I don't have that type of magic, and that's not how this magic works.
Yeah, because I bet she read up on it. I mean, I don't think her reading up on something, or giving information about it, means that she believes it. As I said before, yeah, she said that she doesn't believe. Like, I don't think. I think there are people out there. I mean, this is in general people who are atheists. There are atheists who do read, scriptures and stuff like that. Not that they believe it; they just want to see. It's like what they want to see. What the people who do believe are, what are they believing? I feel like that's just the case. What she's doing here, she was looking into it. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the knack that Sign does, or people like him. She just doesn't have it. I'm really what I'm gathering from that is because what I'm gathering from that statement is that she doesn't believe, and I think that's what the knack is that people who believe in the goddess are allowed to use her power, but like if you're not, of course you're not gonna be able to use her power, because like her magic doesn't work that way. She's giving magic versus you learning it.
I disagree. I think that she was talking about how it works and not just being polite or academic about it. So anyway, I've got other stuff I want to cover. At 3:28, Frieren suggests they move to the next village, and I don't get any vibe here that she's kidding at all. She says this is dangerous and we should move to the next village, and she says it in a quiet voice, like she's suggesting a course of action. And then Fern says, "That's cold, even for you." And she immediately says, without changing her expression, or like it's still not feeling like a joke in any way, it says that she was kidding, and shifts gears. And then they kind of like change the subject, you know what I mean, without exploring it further. But that's another sign right there that like if it's a demon, then the demon would be like, "Oops, I didn't do that right. Let me shift gears and like find a more appropriate response." So that also struck me as a little bit demon-like, that the way she like switched gears and then fell back into something else.
Well, I mean, regardless of Sign, she couldn't do anything about it.
That's not the point. Because she doesn't say she can't do anything about it. She just says, "Oh, you're right. Let's go take care of it. I was kidding." It's the shift in priorities that she goes from one extreme to the other that I see as demon-like. Not that it's good advice or a wise move or anything like that, but it's almost like she was prioritizing the camouflage element over her initial statement.
I mean, okay, I don't know. I feel like just avoiding a cursed area is just normal, but okay, whatever.
It is normal. It's completely normal, and it makes sense. But her saying that she was kidding is an immediate shift. Is what I take issue with.
I got nothing to say about it. I already said I don't really. I still find it hard to believe. It's just a gut reaction. There's really no proof or anything. It's a gut reaction I have every time. It's like I don't know. Like I need to see more than one extra elf. Is basically what I'm saying. I need to see more than one extra elf.
I think we will. Okay. The food when they get there, it's just an observation. The food when they get there is slightly rotten. Like the apples are rotten, but like not very rotten, and the bread looked like fairly okay. So it seemed like an indication that the curse was fairly recent. 520, Frieren says she feels like she's under attack. They call the curse something that's coming from a monster. They're not using the word demon, which is another indication that elves could be something other than they are. Like maybe maybe elves are monsters. You know what I mean? Or they would be monsters if they were doing something that people didn't like. Let's see. Stark is the first to drop to the curse, then Fern, then Frieren. Each one's about a minute apart in the show, or 45 seconds apart in the show. The monster is a subspecies of chaos flowers that feed off mana, can deflect mana. Hyder saying that he could never tell what she was thinking, could only trust her words. When they wake up, Stark and Fern wake up together, it's almost romantic. Like I know Stark is like looks over and he's thinking I'm in danger, but like there's also that like sort of romantic moment when they're kind of cuddling together. Sign gets sort of a flutter when that woman thanks him. At 14 minutes, I was wondering if maybe Stark was actually literally a relative of his, and he'll find that out later. Like again, like I feel like they might be building up to Stark being some sort of legendary hero, and so I'm extra aware of those little possible signs, and it made me wonder if possibly maybe Stark was like some sort of special bloodline that he'll realize later, and that he's literally a relative as well as just looking extremely a lot like this person. 1830. This line stuck out as unusual to me. When I forget the guy, the kind of jackass guy that like is the lord of the area. Do you know what his name was? The father character that like the father character that pays him a lot of money to impersonate his dead son and is like really rude through a lot of this. Turns out to be a nice guy, but he acts like an asshole a lot. What is his name?
Oh, I never got his name.
Okay. Anyway, he says in 1830, he says, "This isn't your village. You're safe to learn here." And that made me wonder. I was like, why did he say that? Like, what does he know about Stark's village other than it's killed? Like, why would he think to point out that it wasn't his village? He knows that. I understand that he knows that Stark's village was destroyed, but what I don't understand is why he would think that would matter in terms of Stark like learning how to use a sword.
Stark was shaking, but also it's like that man who I don't even remember his name anymore. He literally says that he's from like his family is literally from the area that Stark is from. Like they're I think they're neighbors. I don't think he says like he doesn't specifically say that they're related. So I can sit there and say that maybe they are because I was picking up on something weird there too, with how oddly how oddly familiar these two look to each other. I wouldn't put it past him that maybe his older brother may have had a twin that we don't know anything about, but that's now dead. But basically he said that the guy King said he's from the same area, and I suspect that maybe the traditions. I suspect the traditions probably to like, because I mean Stark says that like I don't know why this guy wouldn't know about this either, but he said Stark says that value is put on you by how powerful you are. And the way he just says that to Stark, because he says he does see that Stark is shaking when he is holding that blade. Because like, and again, it's like I brought this up earlier about like how it's interesting to see that we see that Stark has still got some baggage to deal with, and it's not to deal with Eisen, it's dealing with his own family. But like I suspect that he just said that to him to put him at ease because he realizes Stark's probably still hanging on to some of that, and he's afraid. And I think Stark is still afraid. He doesn't. I think that's probably why he hasn't picked up a sword. Period. That's probably why he is wielding an axe. He doesn't think he's good enough to wield a blade, which is wrong, obviously, because he took down that freaking dragon.
When he said this isn't your village, like you're safe to learn here, it really made me wonder, like, how much this guy actually knew about his past. I kept half expecting this guy to reveal himself as his long lost brother at some point. He never happened, but like that's how much I thought something was going on. I thought towards the end of the episode he revealed that he was his brother.
I don't think that man's is. I feel like this is just me in general. I feel like no matter how far apart you two would have been, you would have recognized your brother. Like, and I'm not saying just from a facial thing. It'd just be a feeling, in my honest opinion. He wouldn't necessarily need to see his face to get it. I feel like it would have been a feeling, because like his brother treated him pretty nicely and helped him train. If at that moment, I feel like when he said that this isn't your village, you don't have to be afraid. I feel like if that was the case, and like, and I get what you're saying, like it would be interesting if they had done that, but I feel like at that moment he would have said his brother's name, but I don't think that'd be weird, because like, how much older was his brother to him? Because that'd be strange for his brother to have a dead son, 2 dead children. I mean, nope, sorry, leave back up. One dead son and one younger alive son, unless they're physical, they physically change at puberty, which, good lord, they really get a growth spurt, like if that's the case. But
a crazy theory that just popped into my head while you were talking. What if, and I'm just saying, what if that guy is their father and Stark and his brother are his children, and the dead son that he's talking about is Stark's brother?
But Stark doesn't have I mean, I get what you're saying. I hear it. But it'd be really strange.
Wouldn't that make so much more sense, given that he seemed to know about Stark's past, and also given that he offered him like to be heir to his throne when it's clear that he loves his other son?
I mean, I guess, but the thing is, like, I feel like this is a totally different tribe of people. Because, like, Stark didn't even recognize the place. I feel like, again, I just feel like there'd be things in the town too that he would recognize. You can't break you can't break tradition that easily.
If Stark, like, there could be reasons. I don't know what the reason would be, so please don't hold me to this. But for example, there could have been an adoption situation or something or a more intricate story that we don't know yet. But I just like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. It's not impossible that he is their biological father, that they don't know, or something like that. And that's how he knows about Stark's past, because maybe his brother came and talked to him and found out about it, and then he went off and died somehow. It's been enough time, for him to have another kid and have that kid be that young. Like, he's been gone for 10 years. That kid's not 10 years old. So I don't know. I think it's not impossible. I'm not saying it's a definite thing, but it answers a lot of open questions that I had about what's going on here.
Wasn't the father that, unless I missed something and you were just saying about the father thing, wasn't the father in Stark's memory, didn't he have way more creases on his face? I don't remember if he had a scar, but I feel like he looked much older in Stark's flashback when he was really young. To me, like, at least the father. I'm not talking about his son, but the father that Stark had in his mind. I feel like he had more creases on his face. And that man that we saw, that looked to me younger than he did. I mean, this is a show about magic, so they could probably easily reverse some of that, but still, I don't know. I feel like age increases seem to be something that like be really hard to get rid of, even in this world. I just feel like there's more tribes of people, of warrior tribe people out there, because I don't think there's just one. I don't think Stark came from the only warrior tribe out there, and then when they died, it all perished. Like, I just feel like
I
there's
think
gotta be
Stark
more
did
than
either. I
one.
just think they look ridiculously like each other. I don't know. That would explain some of the open-ended questions that were going on here. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I guess, but also I wouldn't really like that. I'd rather just them be two separate freaking tribes and they just know each other. To me, I think that's a
Maybe.
lot more like, at least in my honest opinion, I think that's to me a little more palatable than pulling his father from the grave. I would almost prefer his father stay dead, or if he is dead, I don't know. Again, not saying he actually is dead. I was like, if he is dead, I'd rather him stay dead versus like them saying that he didn't die and he's still out there and he somehow looks younger than that than he did back then.
Well, he's old enough to be his father because his son is about Stark's age.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, like, at least for me, I don't really remember too much about his father's original appearance, but I feel like I remember creases being all over his face. That's just me in general. I feel like he looked older in Stark's flashback. Either that, or maybe Stark's misremembering his own father's face, which I got concerns about that. But it was like, to me, I don't know. I mean, it could be. Like you're saying, I just don't know. I feel like it's like they had to explain why, if he in fact does look younger, and somehow Stark does not recognize his own dad, regardless. Because I still feel like there'd be some way, even if it isn't a facial thing, there's something Stark would have internalized that would have tipped him off. I just feel like that there's something that would have tipped him off, regardless of how Stark felt about his dad. Whatever his father did to him, he would have internalized something that would have that would have given him some type of PTSD when he saw him again, or not even just when he saw him again, when he interacted with him again.
I don't know. Just this interesting speculation point. Like, it'd be interesting to see. It seems like a lot of possible ways that this could go. This could continue to go forward.
I guess one last thing on this, I'll end on here. I like the idea that he's related to them in some way. I just prefer it to be a distant relative situation versus him being the closest relative. I would take that over him being his dad. But okay, moving on.
Okay. Let's see. 1925, when they were doing the etiquette things and everything else, I was like, ooh, Stark and Fern are preparing for a date. During the dance of 2035, they're afraid to make eye contact. They're like very, very actively avoiding looking into each other's eyes. And then they finally look into each other's eyes and they're both smiling and like so happy about it, which was very, very sweet and romantic. I'd also point out that the animation in this episode is some of the best. It's really good animation in this episode. And then Sign asks Fern to dance, and Fern is like, nope, eating cake. And this is the second another time that like they've had this sort of like really loose, definitely not sexual tension between them, like the early form pieces of a relationship. With Frieren blowing him a kiss and all the jokes they make about like her being the older woman, and now he's like, hey, I don't know, do you want to dance? I don't know, it's probably nothing, but I just made note of that as I'm picking up little trailers here. What turns out, like what we found with Fern and Stark, is things that look like they're mostly a joke early on have a little extra significance as they build up over time. So just making a little bookmark there that happened. One nice thing, and I stole this idea from Reddit when I was looking at the Reddit threads. Normally in a story, when a character like Stark actually goes to dance, he's terrible at it. And one thing I appreciated here was that like Stark wasn't terrible at it, you know. he like actually danced quite well.
I wonder why he wouldn't. I mean, I see like those types of people. Yeah, only when they were not trained. I don't know why they would like why they do that to characters if they're trained. It doesn't. It feels like what was the point of the etiquette lessons? Girls. Oh,
I know, I understand that, but like a lot of times when someone like this type of character is in that situation, they're just hopeless. They just can't will never learn how to dance. And if he goes up there and he does learn how to dance, he's going to be a little clumsy, and maybe he learned it, but he's not going to like rock it. But like Stark did a really good job dancing, and I think that was nice to see him pull it off.
I mean, I was kind of expecting it. I mean, the man literally fell to his knee, grabbed Fern's hand in the hallway when they met after his etiquette lessons, and it was clear that he internalized it. I get what you mean by the saying. Like, I feel like I was expecting him to be good at it because it seems like everything else he was internalizing. I don't know why the dance moves. I was more expecting Fern to be the one to be the klutz, but she wasn't. I like moments like this. I do. I really do. I just don't like it when they decide to revert back to her being mean. I've always had this issue when they kind of do this thing. Like, I mean, if I like I say, I like Tsundere, but at the same time, like I like it when both characters are fighting each other because it makes those interactions more fun. Because like then they could slide in moments of like maybe she likes him, maybe she does like him, and she's just being this way on purpose to hide her feelings. And in this case, they're not doing it. I just much preferred if Stark fought back. Just say something. Just get underneath her skin. I don't know. Just it's no, annoying that they're having the guy here be the one that has taken the brunt of it. And I'm just saying maybe he deserves some of that, but at the same time, it's like I feel like they're making him seem like he's a wimp, and in reality, he's not. Like he's just a decent dude trying to do his own thing, and the Fern just is like a. I hate to call her a spoiled brat, but that's the best way I can put it. Is like she's kind of like a spoiled brat that has good intentions, but clearly doesn't know how to express them. I just really just don't like the fact that it seems like most of her like bad her negative qualities are being put on display in any time that she's interacting with Stark. And it's like she barely does that with Sign, even though I think Sign deserves most of it. If I had to be real, I mean, Sign's a pervert and all that stuff like that. Stark, he may have a little pervy, but he never really goes out of his way to be rude to women. Or I mean, not rude, but like pervy to women. It's really a Sign, and in his episode, kind of puts that on display too. Of like every time Zion brought that up, Stark to say, "Are you serious right now? Like, drop it, please? You're still on that?" He seemed like he got more and more annoyed at Zion. He kept on bringing up wanting to be with older women. But I don't know. It's like to me, it's like it feels like Stark is less of the things she's calling him, and maybe that's the joke. But I still don't. It's just still annoying because it's like I feel like I would like it better if she was learning, but she's not. She's just being mean and continuously being mean just to be mean, and she doesn't care how that affects him. I mean, and maybe this episode too is like if this episode was a turning point, I would really appreciate it. She was just as nice to him as she was just as mean, just to balance things out. At the very least, like give this man a break.
I think she's on her way to being nicer.
I want it to happen faster. Dang it! It's like I'm tired of her being mean to him. Is that fun? It was never fun to begin with, at least for me, or even funny. Like the guy joined and he became the butt of the joke. Like, good lord, like, ain't you the warrior? Seriously? Like, why are they? It feels like everything she's doing is going against his position in the party. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like for her to move on. I mean, she wants to be mean. Yeah, do it in small doses and everything. Try to be funny with it, but just like I think it'd just be much funnier in my opinion if Stark fought back. Like, at least if they were having that back and forth versus just her punching him and him just taking it.
Sure. Um, I thought it was funny that you know how Stark was like all like dressed up and noble looking when he goes up to the guy afterwards to like pick up his pay and like hey, say the job is done. Like his hair is like somewhere between the ballroom and the top of the stairs. Like his hair went back to normal. It might have been an animation oversight, or it might have been a subtle joke, but I just thought it was funny that like he that by the time he got like up the top of the stairs, his hair was like back to being messed up and the normal thing.
But he never went back in front of people. I think that, I mean, I think maybe that was a joke, but like, I don't think. I mean, I just like I don't know how much gel they put in his head to get his hair to stay like that. That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that Frieren managed to get another grimoire out of all this. The episode was very like good and healing for Stark, and I felt good about the episode as far as Stark goes. Like I ended the episode feeling really good about the whole thing. I was like, way to go, Stark, you know?
Yeah, now he's gonna get back to being treated like garbage. I'm sorry. Like that came out. I just like
Mm-hmm.
I know people get dirty tell I'm upset. I know they probably need to stop complaining about it, but I'm sorry. It's really that annoying to me. And I know I'm being just as annoying playing about it, but like, I don't know.
I'm almost out of notes. At 2412, when Fern walks up to Stark, she walks all the way up to Stark. And like they make eye contact and everything else. And Frieren looks up like excitedly. And I'm pretty sure that Frieren thought that Fern was going to kiss him. If you watch that scene at 2412, you'll see what I mean. Like there's a moment where like she walks a little too directly up to him, and Frieren looks up really excited and hopeful, like she doesn't want to miss that moment, even though she's surrounded by grimoires at that point. And I'm pretty sure she thought like a kiss was about to happen.
I'm sorry, like I wish I could appreciate that moment, but I couldn't.
Why?
I just couldn't because I just like I like in the back of my mind, she's gonna go right back to treating him like any like for me right now. Any of those nice moments, I really can't appreciate because I know that she's gonna go back to normal. Like I really wish I could
Yeah.
appreciate that moment because I thought it was nice. I really did. I thought the entire episode was nice. I thought them being dancing together was cute. I thought every moment that they were having with them, but I don't know. It just I could not appreciate it because in the back of my brain, it was like she's gonna go back to calling him a pervert. She's gonna go back to treating him like garbage. None of this matters. Nothing matters. This is just filler as far as I'm concerned. Which I hate to call this important episode filler, but it's like, God, I can't appreciate a moment when I know it's gonna it's not gonna matter later. Now again, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I would love to be able to sit there and say this is a turning point. Was like right now, like I'm so negative on it. It's like I like the episode, loved everything, just negative on the what they were doing with Stark and Frieren. I mean, Stark and Frieren, jeez, Stark and Fern. I did what Spear did. Dang it. Thrown off.
We're the same person.
Yeah, talk about skin tone differences real quick, dude. But that's not how that's not how that works.
Anyway, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is a funny little thought that somebody on Reddit had that I thought I was very amused by. When the person said that, you know how Frieren woke up and like within 5 seconds, like she'd killed the guy. The person said Frieren literally woke up and chose violence. I thought that was a pretty great quote.
Makes sense.
Frieren literally woke up and chose violence.
I mean, I wouldn't sit there with a giant plan in my face, and the priest already told me he can only keep me away for 5 seconds.
So that's all I have. Episode 16 is Long Live Friends. Like you already mentioned, I said on chat that ChatGPT tipped me off that that's one of the most popular episodes in the series. So we'll have to see how it works out.
Man, I already know what's already predict what's gonna happen. I'm gonna come back next week complaining about Fern again.
Could be.
I really hate that I do that. I really do, but it's at the same time, it's just it's there for me. I'm constantly reminded.
Very sorry about your loss.
I was gonna say, I don't think there was a loss, but I guess there was a loss. Just I like Fern as a character. Yeah. I really do. I just don't like that part of her. If they could just cut that out, I would much and thoroughly enjoy Fern's character.
It's a loss that the joy in your heart has died.
I like the show. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm not like not enjoying this show. There's like
the song in your heart, the joy, the laughter in your soul,
dude,
is
if you're
gone.
making a song reference, then you're it's lost on me.
I'm not making a song reference. I'm taking the happiness inside of you as a metaphor, like the child, the joy, the laughter, and I'm saying that it's dead for you. Like you've allowed it to die far too fast and far too easily, and now it's gone forever.
It's still there.
No, it's gone.
It's just not for
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
He's just not there for
It's gone. It's
He's
dead.
there for Demon of the
It's dead and you killed it.
He's there for
It's
Black
dead
Clover.
and you killed it forever.
He's there for everything else. Just right now, he's gotten up and turned the channel.
It's ruined for all of time.
No, he's gonna be there this Saturday for the Demons of Shadow Realm. He'll be there for Demons of Shadow Realm. He'll be there for everything else. But the moment I turn on Frieren, he'll leave. He's done it multiple times now. I cannot believe this has become the freaking Hermes thing, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
At least this makes more sense than the Hermes bike thing, but I will freely admit that. Still. I just want her to be nice for more than one episode. Can I get that?
The answer is no.
Fight that.
No.
I know that's the answer is no, but I'm still gonna ask for it. Like, fight the impulse to be a butt. It's like, or can I get Stark fighting back for 100, please? It's like one or the other. I would like for those moments to be enjoyable, at the very least, versus just me feeling bad for Stark. Every time it happens, I just kind of feel bad for him. Because on my part, like, he doesn't deserve half the things that she said about him. And I mean, I will say the freaking boob cloud thing. I mean, I can't even pretend that was, what she said about that wasn't true. But at the same time, it's like, it feels like that has like multiplied everything else she has said about him. Meanwhile, she doesn't seem to be treating Stein like that. In fact, she barely even talks to him, from what I noticed. But I don't know why she particularly seeks out Stark. But okay, with that, I'm gonna stop complaining about it here before we end up with another freaking 5 hours of me whining about Fern. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Guten Abend.
That's German.